Welcome to the Crypto 101 Show, the best place to learn, understand, and grow with your cryptocurrency education for all ages, starting with the basics to help you get a solid foundation with all things crypto. I need to start off by saying this is not financial advice, so if you are looking for that, this show isn't for you. The content of this podcast episode is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed here are not meant to be taken as financial, investment, or any other advice. I know this is a boring topic, but I think it's important to touch on this as a newbie getting into crypto. In the world of cryptocurrency, you will hear the terms inflation or inflationary and deflation or deflationary. Let's define these two terms and then dig deeper into what this means for crypto. The simplified version of inflation is the sustained upward movement in the overall price level of goods and services in an economy. Deflation means a general decline in prices for goods and services, typically associated with a decline in supply of money and credit in the economy. Inflation is caused when goods and services are in high demand. Goods and services will cost more due to this, and a consequence of inflation is unequal distribution of income. Deflation occurs when too many goods are available, or when there is not enough money circulating to purchase those goods, and a consequence of deflation is a rise in the level of unemployment. As a result, the price of goods and services drops, making them cheaper to buy. Inflation is good for producers, and deflation is good for consumers, but both can be potentially bad for the economy, depending on the underlying reasons and the rate of price changes. In other words, inflation is better than deflation as far as mass production and employment are concerned, but worse than deflation as far as the distribution of wealth and income is concerned. Both inflation and deflation lead to a loss of public confidence in the monetary and credit system of the country. Here's a quick example of inflation to understand it better. The US government has printed more money than consumers actually need, and this has been happening for decades. It's the reason that a Coke or Pepsi that cost a nickel 50 or 60 years ago now costs a few dollars today. And an example of deflation is at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we saw gas prices decrease drastically, as more people were home and not as many people were commuting, requiring less gas usage during that time. There's a lot more to this, but for the basics, this will help you understand the difference between inflation and deflation. Now let's get to the meat of this. When you hear people say a specific coin is deflationary or inflationary, they are talking about it as inflation being bad because it reduces the value of the currency or coin over time, and counter that, deflation increases the value of the currency and coin over time. Let's use Bitcoin as an example since it's the first and the most known cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is designed to experience predictable and low rates of inflation. This makes Bitcoin deflationary. I know you are now asking how and why is that? It's limited in supply, its scarcity, and tapering or halving events of it. Bitcoin's supply is limited, where only 21 million will ever be mined, which makes it scarce. And as the creation of new Bitcoin are released, they will taper off or have halving events every 4 years. This means the amount of Bitcoin that is mined is reduced by half every 4 years. And the last thing about Bitcoin is the fact it's decentralized and can't be manipulated by central governments adjusting interest rates. Bitcoin will experience some inflation at certain points, as it's mined just like gold does. But because of the halving events, the amount of new Bitcoin is automatically reduced by 50% every 4 years, which will cause Bitcoin's inflation rate to decrease. But not all cryptocurrencies are designed like Bitcoin. Remember from our previous episode when we talked about stablecoins. Stablecoins are pegged to commodities like fiat currencies, like the US dollar. If a stablecoin is pegged to a fiat currency, your investment could be impacted by inflation and could lose value over time as the reserve currency loses value. Again, remember, this is due to unlimited supply being printed or created of the fiat currency. It's not scarce because of unlimited supply. There's no tapering or halving events, and central governments can manipulate the fiat it's pegged to with adjusting interest rates. There is no hard limit as to how much fiat currency there can be at any given time. Central banks can use a technique called helicopter money to introduce more bills and coins to an ecosystem if they see the need to do so, and this is why stablecoins are inflationary if pegged to a fiat. A lot of people see no harm in inflationary cryptocurrencies such as altcoins and stablecoins, but it does provide a bit of a problem when it comes to estimating a coin's value. Since there are more coins every day and the available currency continues to grow, it makes the previously existing supply worth a bit less. There's also a difference between proof of work coins versus proof of stake coins, but I'm saving this for another episode so as to not cause more confusion. So let's sum this up for this episode. We defined how inflation and deflation work in everyday economics in a basic form. We also now know, in terms of cryptocurrency, deflationary coins are most likely better in terms of retaining their overall value long term, and that inflationary coins can lose value over time depending on the amount created. We also learn why limited supply, scarcity, and reducing the supply can create more value for the cryptocurrency coin. This was extremely simplified for a beginner, and I recommend still doing your own research. I want to be extremely upfront that I try my best to leave all of my opinions out of this. I want you to gain your own understanding and beliefs and not be persuaded by me. I hope this helped you gain a better grasp of it. On that note, please remember to share, follow, and subscribe for future episodes so you can gain more with your crypto knowledge. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Crypto 101 Show. If you'd like to join our email list, email us at thecrypto101show@gmail.com. For more helpful tips, subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss our next episode.